hadn't been long about the little White House. And he's over there up on the back of his truck on a ladder, pulling vines off of that electric line that went down through there. I stood there for a minute. I said, now, I don't know him, but I'm going to get to know him. Out the back door I went, right over there to, John, what? Get your butt down from there. Who the hell are you talking to? I said, I'm talking to you. Get down from there. Stood there, you don't know who the hell you're talking to. I said, I ain't talking to nobody in here. I'm talking to you. Get down. He came on down the ladder. What business is of yours? I said, do you know it's thundering and lightning and you out there grabbing those wet vines on that electrical line? I said, you grab a vine off that line and one off that line and they come together. You know what you got? Hadn't thought about it. I won't come down because you told me to come down. But when I get down, he said, I'll lie to whip your ass. I said, no, I ain't worried about that either. Come on down here. Going down the ladder, and he looked at me like he was sizing me up, you know. He says, George? I said, yeah. He said, my wife know you. Yeah, been knowing her a long time. Before you married her, I knew her. He says, she was telling me what kind of person you are. I said, well, I don't know how she knows. I said, but I don't speak the lingo you all speak. I said, so I ain't trying to be different, I said, but I don't believe in it. My parents taught me not to use that kind of stuff. He said, looked at me, I believe I can whip you. I said, well, let your conscience be your guide. I said, you ain't sure nothing until you try it. He looked at me, he said, nah, I ain't gonna do that. He said, you're a friend of Doris. I said, I'll be a friend of yours if you let me. I said, now you go back up that ladder, you ain't gonna be no friend of mine. Because I'm gonna snatch you down. Why you wanna do that? I said, I care about you that much. Now come on, don't be stupid. From that day on, we was the best of friends. When the tree took my garage down, got it all cleaned up, he laid the foundation for that garage to be rebuilt. Didn't charge me a dime.
I'll give you a good example. Somebody said to me one time, you know, we're here for our neighbors, but I'm only here when there is something bad happening, and then I'm going to go help my neighbor, and I'm going to make sure they're okay. And I said, you know, if you're really a good neighbor, and if you're really about community, you'd be there every day making sure they're okay. And so it's not about when disaster happens, it's not about when something tragic happens. If you care about your neighbor and you care about what's going on, you're there all the time. I mean, our block, when we moved in on our block, my husband and I were the youngest couple on that block. We are now the oldest couple on that block. But we watch after. We know the people who live on our block. And so we make sure that if I don't see the lady down the street, I go looking for her. You know, are you okay? Her husband worked with my husband in Millicron. And so when he passed several years ago, you know, we just watch after her and make sure she's okay. And the people across the street. So, I mean, if it's community, you're there all the time. It's not just when something bad happens. To me, that's community.
I think on a personal level, like for me, community is also just feeling like, you know, the people with whom my heart shares space, right? Like we really feel like I'm connected to these people. And it's not just to me like about buildings or our houses are in the same community. There's some proximity, but it's about, it feels different when I talk about community, when I feel like those are the people who know me and who've known me for a while and who are gonna know me. And that's my community, whether it's family or school community or my neighborhood community.
Everybody actually trying to take care of each other and build each other up. I know in present years right now, Madisonville's kind of lost that, and now we're trying to regain it. Whereas some of the younger people out there in Madisonville don't want to try and take care of each other. They want to just try and get their money, have a good time. But that's so short-lived and short-sighted. But when you actually work together and try and build a strong community together, everyone is actually supporting each other. That can last generations down the line, and it's enjoyable for everyone.
Moving to Madisonville, and I was a young child, probably around the age of 3-4 years old. So I've been in Madisonville. I'm 71 now, so I've been in Madisonville most of my life. And that's really all I knew is Madisonville. And the area that I knew was called Dunbar, which no longer exists, but it was down by where the Gorilla Glue Company, and there's an area down there which was called Dunbar, and that's where we was raised up at. Most of us was raised up down in that area. Right now we have what we call a Dunbar picnic every year, and we've been having that for the last 15 years or better. And we have it up at Desmond Park. And just a few of us get together and we all chip in, we meet, and you know, we just have a nice party. And it doesn't matter whether you're from Dunbar or whether you're from someplace else, you're always welcome, because that's the way we were down in Dunbar. We was welcoming people. You know, we helped each other, and we if somebody needed something, and somebody else had it, they would more than be welcome to give it to you. And so that's the reason why we try to share our childhood or our lives, you know, with others.
One of the reasons that we were able to share, because most of the parents had gardens, and they shared their vegetables or whatever with whomever that needed something. They even shared clothes. If we need whatever family needed something, that's the family you would migrate to help out.
I feel a sense of loss because that's where my childhood is. And I can't take my grandchildren there and say, well, hey, this is where I was reared up. This is where we played in this street, and this is what we did. I can't take them there. So it is a sense of loss. When we found out that they were going to tear it down, the houses had been sold, and that whole process, it took a while, like she said, it took some years. But my family, I think my brother went through there and actually took still photos, I believe, of what then was Dunbar. And that's all we have now, are those photos. The place doesn't exist anymore. Where maybe your community still exists. You can go back and tell your kids, or you can go back and say, well, yeah, I used to play in the yard as a kid, and that kind of thing, but we don't have that anymore. And it is, for me, a sense of loss.
But I mean, as far as Madisonville itself goes, it was almost like a different community when you came to Madisonville. It was almost going downtown Cincinnati. And there was all kind of stores that was here. We had the Burnett Pontiac. There used to be a new car dealer here. We had several car dealers. We had 4 or 5 drugstores. We had meat markets. We had Kroger's, Albert's.
Within Madisonville.
Within Madisonville, yes. That was
Actually, we had a
within
theater
Madisonville.
also.
Yes, we had a theater, and all that was here in Madisonville, you know. So.
I don't know if you ever heard of the Fountain. There was a drugstore that had stools. If you remember, it was on the corner, and it wasn't Wade's.
Wade was on the corner.
Yeah, and it
on the
had
other
served
corner.
ice cream, and you could go in, and you know, the ice cream and just sit and enjoy yourself.
Bakeries.
Right.
We had everything, you know, we had all kinds of things.
The change.
And, you could, you know, shoe stores, we had clothing stores. You didn't have to go downtown for anything. You know, the heart of downtown, well, we went down to Shillitoes and places like that, you know. But, you know, you could find almost anything that you wanted in Madisonville without leaving.
Before that area was Family Dollar, was K&K Barbecue, and Libby Suburban, it was the state liquor store. K&K Barbecue go way back from the early 60s. Could nobody compare it to them. People was coming from Kingwood, all across the city to go to K&K, and they opened 24 hours.
I totally remember that.
Yeah. Once they left, you know, Mr. K&K, he died, and you know, people was trying to run it, but couldn't nobody run it like he did. But he had the best barbecue. You know, you go out to a club and you want something to eat, go to K&K Barbecue. And there was a liquor store right next to it, and there was Libby's. Going to Madisonville Elementary School, we all used to go to either Libby restaurant right there on Madison Road or Art's Chili Kitchen, which is on Wetzel, which the building is no longer there, which was next to the library. So those were the two restaurants. And every day you could always get a meal from Art's Chili Kitchen to Libby's or K&K.
And another thing back then, I remember everyone kind of like working together, like my Uncle Sam Chambers, he's well known in the community. And everyone know him. They seem like they all work together, like he goes back to Barnes. He's no longer here either. But he was an anchor in Madisonville. And that's another reason I'm excited about the development. Because Sam Chambers, he worked from Madisonville through Indian Hills doing upholstery. And you don't have a lot of that. But back then, it seemed like the community would work together and economically be inclusive in the community. And that money rotated within the community, which was community growth.
You know, for me, when my wife and I bought our house, the same lady had lived in her family, her grandchildren, her children had lived there for over 50 years. And I think that is what I love about Madisonville the most is when you talk to people, they're not talking about just last month or last year, they're going back generations. And I think that's where, you can really, put Madisonville in a different category when it comes to the length of time families have spent here in the neighborhood and call Madisonville their own.
I'd like the future generations to know that it's got a long history and of having a good community and integrated community, everybody getting along very well together, and just a long history.
I like the history part too. That young people need to know that this just didn't pop up from anywhere. Things happen for this to take place, and it was not just for nothing. There's a reason. There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of experiences, and it should make people proud, of the history of this place, the community. That's very important.
I'm probably 5 blocks from where I grew up, and I bought that in 2005, and it's just, I left the community, and especially as a young person, kind of thinking, I'm ready, I want to move away, set my own roots, and then, living in Clifton, working downtown, I would come out and see my parents, and it's so, you could say, like pastoral and very, you get a sense of nature and green, and it's quiet, and people look out for each other, and I really enjoyed that aspect, those aspects of the community. And so when I first started looking for a house, at first it was Clifton, I was like, then it was north side, and then I was still like, I don't know, it's just still concretey. So all the beautiful grass and the hillsides and just really called to me. So I was like, I'm gonna go home again. So I came back to Madisonville.
Well, for me, what I think I've grown to understand from living in the Madisonville community is a connection to people on a lot of different levels. In my immediate neighborhood, the street that I live on, it's a circle. And so people walking their dogs, you're out doing your gardening and yard work, everybody's always interacting. It's probably about 45 houses on our circle, and you really get to know just about everyone. And so that sense of knowing the people that you live near is almost invaluable. You really just feel that connection. Everybody knows you. We have a yearly barbecue for our street, and you really just the friendliness, and you look out for your neighbor. So that level of bonding with people has been really important to me.
It's the families. I really enjoy getting to know the people that live around me. When we rented over on Row and Thoburn, there were dozens of kids that we would see on a regular basis who lived in the apartment building or lived down the street. And we were the family that had 7 chickens and 2 dogs. So, all of the kids knew us, and we got to know their parents. And really, it was just exciting to be a part of that.
People that we have talked to in these businesses that are like the actual owner of the business, they seem like really passionate, and they actually like live in Madisonville too. They don't just like have their business here, which is interesting, and also shows that hey, Madisonville is worth living in. Not just having a business here, but you want to live here too.
I have twin boys that are both 18, and they were looking for, both of them needed to find an Eagle Scout project for them to do. And my one son chose to do work on the Little Duck Creek Trail as his Eagle Scout project. And Frank Hansen and Bill Collins were the original kind of visionaries of the potential of kind of reclaiming a portion of our neighborhood. Cincinnati Parks had abandoned the Little Duck Creek and basically decided that there was going to be no maintenance for the last 30 years to the park. And so it was a real grassroots effort, a community grassroots effort of cleaning up that park and cutting the honeysuckle down. And so my son chose to do his Eagle Scout project there, and he did bench and trail work, about a half a mile of trail work. And what's been really cool with this project is the amount of community that has come out to help him, to rally behind a potential Eagle Scout and move mountains of mulch to define a trail. And it's just, I mean, I could not be happier with the community involvement in supporting my son. And then I personally mentored another Eagle Scout this year who has carried on the work that my son started. And it's like a wildfire that's taken off. And Davy Tree donated a tremendous amount of wood chips. And no sooner were the wood chips delivered 2 days ago, they were just magically spread another half mile of trail work by a resident in Madisonville that is just carrying on this work that these 2 eagles started, and it's the coolest thing.
So I really love the Duck Creek Trail. My son and I like to walk on that, and it was also really awesome. I took him there a couple of weeks ago. There's a group of Eagle Scout.
like 3 different kids for the last 3 years have made the Duck Creek Trail their project for their Eagle Scout badge, and Frank Henson has worked with them and gotten tool bank tools, and this it was just awesome to have, to take my son back there, and then they were all still working, and I got to meet the kids who, the kid whose idea it was originally, and then the kid who was spearheading it this year, and got to talk to his parents, and just the excitement around being able to have all of the resources that they needed to complete this project was just one of those moments where I'm like, this is, all the hard days when you feel like you work really hard and no one really appreciates what you do for a living, and then you have these little nuggets of it's all worth it. All of the stress is so worth it. All of the, and just, because kids have this passion, right? When you get really excited about something and you're just like, oh my gosh, and I can totally do this, and so things start falling into place, and there's this roadblock, right? And not being able to overcome certain roadblocks can kind of kill your spirit, I believe. And so to not have that roadblock of, oh my gosh, we have all these people who are willing to help, we can't afford the tools. And just to be able to be a part of providing those tools to keep that, momentum, I think is really cool.
It's really some of the simplest things, just when we have events here at the Recreation Center right here in the middle of Madisonville. I remember 4 or 5 months ago we had an event, I think it was sponsored by Cincinnati Works, and everybody came up and we had a grill out, people were eating food, and we went ahead and planted a whole bunch of flowers around the rec center, built some benches. It was nice. Cleaned up a little bit back by the park. Just little things like that get people out and get people to see each other and work together.
Yeah, the parks and stuff, the library, little Lala's and places like that around here. Instead of just being in the house, just on your phone and stuff like that.
I would definitely say the sports with Madisonville Braves. It was always a generational thing. The grandfathers played, the sons played, grandsons. It was always the same families on the same team. Even with Madisonville Tigers, the football team, it was the same thing. Whoever played for the Madisonville Braves played for the Madisonville Tigers for football. And even though Madisonville merged with Avondale, which is the Cincinnati Gators now, it's still the sense of family. We're from Madisonville, or we're from Avondale, we're a family now, so we all play together. The kids go to the same school, so they go to the school, they play on the sports team together, play in the park together in the summer, so just the sports mainly keeps these kids together.
There's always events. There's so much volunteer work going on in Madisonville. It's amazing. Volunteer cleanups. There's a woman in Madisonville, Karen Brown, who spearheaded having a foraging garden. It's like an urban tree and fruit and nut area that is free for people, and so I've worked on that over the past few years on cleanups and after harvesting, getting it ready for the winter, but just all kinds of things, especially the beautification committee. There's just so many committees that are doing so many things. The youth council. If you want to get plugged in Madisonville, there are lots of slots to plug in on. People are really doing things here. And so now with Nextdoor Madisonville on the web, people can find out really quickly when things are happening.
Well, NYCC means Madisonville Youth Community Council. It's basically a bunch of kids from the ages 12 to 18 who help better the Madisonville community and try to change the way it is and not promote violence and everything, try to do everything positive to make Madisonville better. As I get older, I feel like I can change Madisonville with the things that I do and everything. With the NYCC thing, we're changing Madisonville already. Just started fundraisers, cleaning up places where they throw a lot of trash, and then when we clean up those type of places, they learn not to throw trash there anymore. So yeah.
Shoot,
store, clothing store, you know, more than one shoe store. So just different things like that, you know, where you can shop and interact. That would really bring more reasons to come together because you're shopping. And truly, people come together because we're at the dollar store, and I see so many people going to the dollar store. So I know I see people standing around up there. People are like looking for gathering spaces, you know, places to interact and, you know, talk to the neighbors and that kind of thing. And you'll see people too standing around, but there's no gathering. When I drove up here, I saw people, you know, kids standing around outside. Did you guys see that too, standing outside? People want to have somewhere that they can interact.
I think we have torn down so much of our history, and we've torn it down in haste to prepare for what may or may not come. Again, you know, we've been working with the city for the last 30 years to make something happen in this community, and we've come so close all the time. So for me, I'm very hesitant about tearing down my history until I know there's something that's going to go back. I don't see that, and that's what I would change. I would have preferred that our history stayed. Do I think we need to make room for new? Yes, but right now we've lost so much of what was here, and when you go through here, you see nothing. And so, you know, we are a community that is just stagnant and sitting here and waiting on someone to do something. And so, you know, for me, I would have changed that. Would I change other things about it? Probably not. Would I change the opportunities that are here for our kids? Yes. Do I believe that we ought to have great things in here and upscale and new apartments and bigger this and new that? Yeah, I do. I think, you know, that's just what we do. That's just the evolution of things. But I think we also have to maintain that simple lifestyle because a lot of people don't drive. They can't leave this community. And so for them, having a post office or a grocery store is significant. We just have to.
It'd be nice to have a pharmacy and a grocery store and other amenities like that so I don't have to go out of the neighborhood.
Yeah, I was thinking about what you said earlier. I don't want to have to drive out of the neighborhood to go to those places. I want to be able to stay in Madisonville and be able to walk to those kind of cool places.
I personally would like to change some of these empty spaces, you know, where the buildings we remember are, that there would be something else put there that people could enjoy. It wasn't just so many empty spaces. I mean, green spaces are good, but I'd just like to see something that somebody could enjoy out here.
Right. Yes, I agree. It's too many empty spaces. You know, and that's not how it started out.
No.
You know, and if people are willing to come and to redo and remodel and build up, I mean, there couldn't be any harm. We do have our bakeries. So what harm is it to get a unique toy store, you know, something real unique and different? Because we have the French Rendezvous up here. Oh my gosh, those croissants.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just like places like that. Madisonville has room for that, you know, and I think it deserves it. It's been around a long time.
The vibe.
Yeah.
I don't ever want that to change.
Yeah.
I don't want it to get all uppity.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I, you can edit this if you want. I want it to continue growing, but I don't want it to become Oakley.
Yeah, we don't want Oakley.
I don't want, this doesn't need to be Oakley, it's Madisonville.
Yeah.
Madisonville, what I really love about it is it's quaint. I love that it still has an authenticity and about it where people are just people. We look out for each other. There's not really many pretensions in the way that you know, you might have a working class family living right next to maybe a middle class family, but we all kind of take care of our homes, and just like I live on a cul-de-sac, so we just kind of like if someone's going out of town or someone has their trash cans out and they seem busy, you just put them in for them, or you know, your neighbor, you know, you just might maybe mow his front yard just to, you know, help him out, and it's no big deal. It's just, you know, you just kind of look out for each other. So I really love that about it. And then also as a community, you know, there's affordability, and you gotta have, you know, like look out for all aspects of society.
Yes, the 500 chickens and 500 gardens and all of that, I have been, that actually, I don't know why I didn't think any of that before, but that might be one of my favorite things about Madisonville. Because I think that, just like with John P. Parker and all the gardening stuff, I think that we're really far removed from our food and where it comes from, and we just go to a grocery store and we see these, you know, pictures of farms on packages, and we think that that's where our food comes from, and that's really not it. And it's, you know, and just to sort of bring it back to basics, right? So growing food in your yard, and that I have 5 chickens, and so it's awesome. Like, I think that is probably one of my favorite things about just the embracing that. And
every morning I wake up and I hear birds, like so many birds, and they're so beautiful, and their songs are like incredible, and it's like I'm like in a sanctuary, like in the treetops, and it's just my regular house. It's just like right outside my window, didn't do anything. And so there have been all these trees and these homes like for a long period of time.
I remember someone coming to Madisonville that I knew, and they just couldn't understand all the grass and trees. That was nothing for us, you know. It was the norm.
Right. And especially in Dunbar, the area was just a lot of trees and things, and we all perfected tree climbing down there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're a community that the history of our community mirrors a lot of the history of the United States in our successes and failures. So it's been very touching, and it's very difficult to illustrate. You know, you have, whether it's the first peoples of the United States, the Native Americans, and you depict them, and then some of the, you know, and especially with the Shawnee tribe that were here, it's like they were more nomadic, but they were definitely kind of pushed out quickly. And then moving on, you know, the North being the destination of the Underground Railroad, but unfortunately we had to have an Underground Railroad, and that was really sad. So I depict that in the next scene as some of the first settlers, and then the community is almost since the inception, probably in the first year or two, we were already like a diverse community. I've checked in with a couple different historians. Well, diverse in the entire geography of our community, but obviously you still have the same issues in society where you can start to create little chasms in the community.
I do, to a pretty good extent, not perfectly, but to a good extent, I think it is. I think it's very inclusive. The events that I've attended, they have been integrated across racial and age and all lines.
The church too.
Church, yes, the churches too. I think all the churches.
They do try to come together. They really do. They try to come together and participate together. I know when I was growing up, there was a certain area you could not venture into. But, you know, it's not like that now. There were tracks you just didn't go across, okay? And you had people on, Caucasian people on one side, African American people on one side. But when we did the walk today, it looks like it looks like what it was from the beginning. I think in the beginning when people came here to live, that's what it was like. I'm not sure what happened to cause a separation, but it looks like it's just coming back again. Because I know when my great-grandparents came, I mean, you know, even with your family, it's like, they come to Madisonville, it had to be integrated. Because you're looking at African American people and Caucasian people who settled here and named streets after themselves. So it was, because they lived right on the main strip. So it was like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I
there's
think that-
somebody here, but
It's one of the things I like about it is it seems to be pretty diverse. And I like living somewhere where there's a variety of people that you can get to know and interact with. And I think it's good for the neighborhood and community, especially if people are willing to work together. So hopefully, and it seems that the events we've been to, everybody seems to be pretty open.
Yeah, blacks and white, we were all together. We were just like family. Like I said, we all share everything we had. We go to the park. Everybody would go there together. It wasn't no racial thing. We just joined in and did everything together. You know, picnics or whatever. We did it together, all of us.
And I understood that I was poor once I started high school and I caught the bus and rode through Hyde Park. I could see the difference between where I lived and where Hyde Park, the homes in Hyde Park. And incidentally, as I rode through Hyde Park about a month or two ago, Hyde Park has not changed and my neighborhood is gone. So I then started to understand the difference between where I lived and where Hyde Park and Withrow High School and then through there. But education, I did not have a African American teacher during all of my elementary and high school. Didn't have one. Didn't have a African American teacher until I got in high school. I mean into college. But education, for me, it didn't differ. My teacher said, "Hey, you're here to learn, and you're going to learn." I remember Mr. Reed, he had one arm. He made us learn those timetables. If I didn't know those timetables, he had me hold my palm out there with a ruler, and he smacked my palm. But I learned those timetables up through 1 through 12. And it was that kind of a learning environment. You're there to learn. I don't care what color you are. You're here to learn. So when you come out of here, you'll have something to offer the world. And as I look back on that, I appreciate that. Because it wasn't about being black. It wasn't about anything else. You're here to learn. And I'm the teacher, and you're going to learn if you stay in this class.
Well, I would definitely like to see the diversity stay the same, because I think that's what makes Madisonville unique, on the east side especially. And it just creates a great atmosphere in America. I think we're unique if you even look across America. You know, we're a wonderful community, and we're figuring out how to make it work. And I think that is a treasure.
There are a lot of people who have chosen to be here because they do want to be with different kinds of people, but we all still have our the prejudices that come from our individual cultures, the hurt that has come from experiences we may have had, and I don't want to pose like an idyllic version of what this community is. I would rather say that I hope to be a part of like the truth telling and the listening and understanding where we've been, but I will say that I don't know anyone who doesn't have the hope that we can become a truly beautiful tapestry of different kinds of people. That doesn't mean you'll have to be doing the same things or have the same culture or become like each other. It means standing on your own and being who you are, and having your family look the way your family looks, maybe worship the way they worship, but still being interested in and welcoming of neighbors who are different than you.
I'd like them to know that it's a very welcoming place, and there's a place for everyone here, no matter what your age, what your ethnicity.
Yes.
Children, there's a good place for children, for walking your dog. There's a place. We have some shopping here.
Yeah.
So I just like everybody to know it's a good place.
Yeah.
Like everybody come to visit and maybe move.
Yes.
Move in.
Yeah, come.
Some of those houses we saw when we were walking
yes.
could easily be rehabbed. And they would be a nice place for families.
Absolutely, for families. Yeah, I was thinking about that. So I agree with Max, come visit, just come.
Right.
Well, I think it's a nice area. I mean, I know they have problems. People talk about problems.
one lady that walks past the house, we started talking to her. We actually even had over dinner a few weeks back. And she comes from way up on the hill there. So I think generally for the people that we see, like walk past the house and say hi and stuff like that, they're very nice. We haven't really had any problems.
I want everybody to move to Madisonville. I love it. Right?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Yeah.
it's family oriented. There's so much to do. It's just a good, all around great place to live.
You know, our business district, because there are so many vacant lots that are waiting for development, when you come through the main drag of Madison and Wetzel, it just kind of looks sort of deadish and like nothing's going on, and it really does not reflect the vibrancy of the residential areas and the community and all the activities that are going on. And so I know that people who live outside the community just sort of think of Madisonville as this kind of desolate little backwater. And it just is so not reflective of the actual community. And so I can't wait for the business district to reflect what the rest of the community is, really. That's my big hope to happen.
Moving into Madisonville, you know, it's come and see it for yourself. I think that's one of the best things I can say is, unfortunately, when you say Madisonville to some people, they have a negative perception of it, and I think that is outdated and something that should just be, as with anything, experience it for yourself. Don't let someone else cloud your opinion or cloud your vision of something, whether that's new to you or whether it's something that you've heard in the past. Go experience it yourself.
When people think that this is actually a dangerous place, like the only reason it's a dangerous place is because nobody knows anyone. When you actually see a stranger, sometimes we're predisposed to judge them, but if you actually get to know that person and talk to them, that fear is gone. So, like I said, focus on that fellowship and we get to know one another and work with each other. That fear is now gone, and now we have a close-knit community.
I feel that that's come back to me. I feel embraced by my community. Part of my artwork that I've done, I feel, because I've concentrated mostly on doing scenes and buildings in Madisonville. I just did it because I like those scenes and buildings, and then when I went to a pop-up shop that the community had in this past December, I mean, I was really surprised. People felt the same way about seeing artwork about buildings in Madisonville as I did creating them. So it was a lot of fun to get that feedback from the community. So yeah, I feel like, really the love that I put out just to create, it just kind of circled back, and so I do feel like I've been embraced by the community.
I find that there is something that I need to do. I have a purpose here, and when I had breast cancer, I couldn't figure out why I had it, and I said, okay, God's making me sit down for a little while, because I just never sat down. I was always going, I was always busy, and I thought, okay, He wants me to sit down for a little while. I don't think that was my purpose at all. I think my purpose was to mentor someone else through that process, because I've been able to do that several times since I've had breast cancer. And so I think, for everything there is a purpose. My purpose here is our children. My kids have been very blessed in being able to travel with us, go with us, see the world, do all kinds of things. And so many of our children don't get out of this community. They don't leave this community. They don't know anything any different. They were raised at McDonald's, so they don't even know how to go order at a restaurant. And so for me, I think my purpose is to help every one of those children become the best that they can be.
I mean, I'm not the first one that will jump on and say that what I teach people is going to teach them ultimately self-defense. Mm-hmm. What I offer through my business, I think, is very valuable to people, to kids, to anybody. Because it's more than just boxing. I work from the inside out a lot. It's easier to make a strong man than fix a broken one. I think it gives people empowerment. I think it makes them feel good about themselves and confident, which is great for anybody, And not only that, but like I said before, I mean, a lot of the things that I teach, you know, my motto and stuff is, it has a lot more to do with internally grown as well as externally grown with people. If they want that, it's available and it's here. You know, that's not pushed on anybody. Somebody's got to be ready for that. But it's all the stuff that I work on with people with boxing. There's just as much value in that to do internal work.
I'm really glad you all are doing this project. I think documenting a period of time is critical. And when picture framing, what I've always loved about it is you really only frame something that you love. You know, you're not framing something that you don't care about. You're not framing something that doesn't mean anything to you. It's usually a very personal item, or it's going to a very personal situation. It gets exciting. So I think it's preserving our history, creating our history. It's something that I really appreciate you guys.